Hey guys, I've got another Alliance War video for you today. This war is going to be our 5th war of the season against D69, and this is going to be a longer war. We've got a pretty full path, so we're going to be starting out here on path 9, and our first fight is going to be the Aegis heavy node. I'm boosting up here, and with this node, what you want to do is make 6 contacts with a heavy attack against the defender. So I'm assuming that the reason that they put Massacre on here, it's going to be a 6-star Massacre, is because, and I could be wrong, so correct me if I am, but every time that he hits into your block and gains one of his little charges, I believe that it lowers your ability accuracy. So you can see now he has 3 of them. That can cause your parries to fail. Fortunately here it didn't. So now the only thing we really have to watch out for is the backup recovery node. We don't want to get hit on our block with his special 2. So we're going to play this one kind of slowly. I've noticed that there have been a few times where I've tried to back up to phase and instead I've parried. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we did end up making it out of this fight okay. So, first fight down, and our next fight on path 9 is going to be a rank 5 Captain Marvel movie. I was a little bit nervous about this fight. I have fought her before, but I wasn't sure if there was a reason that she was on this node that I just wasn't aware of. So I wasn't sure if Ghost would be able to do the trick where she can just let her phase through you once and then counter with a medium. I wasn't sure if there was something that was going to prevent that from happening. So let's see how this fight plays out, and then we'll get on to the next one. Okay, so as we can see, there was nothing to worry about there. And we did go ahead and scout this next fight. And it turns out to be a 565 Stark Enhanced SpiderMan. And again, this is the hidden mini, the Aegis heavy node again. So we just have to heavy him 6 times. And he is a small defender. Dodge is the global for this war. So we're just going to play as carefully as possible. But for the most part, this is just, you know, a standard Ghost fight on this node. If you've seen it once, you've seen it enough. So that fight went really smoothly, really quick. I'm not entirely sure why he was placed there, but we'll move on. We weren't assigned any of the middle mini bosses, so we're going to move on to path 5 in section 2. And this is where the war for me gets a little bit more interesting. So we're going to start with a rank 5 MODOK, and this is on the toggle unblockable node again. So I'm going to start by heavying him to remove his shield. And I'm going to continue doing that as much as I can when he's not unblockable. And I did find out, I faced a MODOK once on the Aegis intercept node, and I was really concerned about it. I almost didn't bring Ghost, but then I learned that what you can do is if you just let him phase through you once and counter really quickly, it doesn't trigger his shield. So I tried doing that as much as possible, and we got the fight done relatively easily. So the next fight here is going to be a rank 5 Sig 200 Killmonger, and this was the following day. We all boosted up for the rest of the war together, and I was really nervous about this fight. I have taken this fight before and won, but I wasn't comfortable with it at all. I felt like I had gotten kind of lucky, so I used a combat regen boost here to mitigate some of the reverberation damage. And this fight does not go very well. So it starts out well. You can see here, I'm trying to only trigger the reverberation when his power is low. So far I'm doing an okay job of that. Working around the unblockable. And you can see here I get cornered, and I am comfortable in the corner with Ghost. I don't really have an issue with that, and I was holding on to my special 3 because I didn't want to launch a special 2 and have the last part of it get reflected back onto me with the reverberation. So here I'm almost done. I dodge the heavy in the corner, and here I go to counter him with a medium, and he intercepts me with his special, and I take my first death of the season. So that was really disappointing. I thought for sure I had that fight done. I go ahead and revive Ghost, heal her back up because I am going to need her again in this war, and I know that this fight's pretty much over. So we have less than an hour left to finish. So I hop back in, and I believe I get him down this time in like 2 or 3 hits, which just makes it even worse, having taken that death. Yeah. So we're going to move on now to the mini bosses. And my first fight here is going to be a rank 5 Quake. I have taken this fight several times before. I wasn't concerned about it. But you'll see that the AI, I feel like, played a little bit differently this time. There was once or twice where I felt like I was standing wide open and she charged a heavy. So again, this fight, I think maybe I was still shaken up from the Killmonger fight, but it didn't go as smoothly as usual. And at this point I'm just kind of trying to rush through and get my lane done. So we drop a special 2. It does quite a bit of damage. Here I'm trying to bait out that special 1, and you can see she's just not running back into me when I'm ready for her to. And then there again, she charges another heavy. So at this point, I'm just trying to get out of the fight as quickly as possible. And we've almost got her down here. One more special 2, and that fight's over. So then our next fight, as far as the mini bosses go, and the last fight I'm going to need Ghost for, is going to be this rank 5 Darkhawk. I'm checking his Sig level here, and we're going to go in with Ghost. This is going to be a stun immune and enhanced special 1. So we put on a combat regen boost because I have several of them, and I've already used so many potions in this war that I was just trying to avoid using anymore. So with Darkhawk, this is okay placement, but his special 1, you really only need to avoid that first little swing that he does. The beam itself can be blocked. So I feel like he usually does better on like a kinetic reactor node, but we'll go ahead and hold on to our specials in this fight. I don't want to knock him down. That will trigger his shield mode, and if I do that, he can parry me. So I obviously don't want that to happen. So the rest of this fight, I'll just let play out, and then we'll watch the last fight of the war after this. Okay, so that fight's over, and we're going to move on to our last fight of this war, which is actually going to be the boss. And I almost never take boss fights. I'm not very good at it. I get really nervous, especially if the war is really close. But at this point, the war had already been decided, and I did have the best counter for Invisible Woman in Nick Fury. So I'm going to put on another boost. I'm going to use a power start boost because, again, the global buff here is dodge. Invisible Woman is small. And also she has a miss mechanic. And Nick Fury can bypass evade and miss depending on how many tactical charges he has. So here I'm going to purposely miss her once to turn off the invisibility. And then after that, I'm going to throw my special one. And this way, if I run into a situation where she's trying to dodge or she gets her invisibility back, I won't miss. So I feel like you can tell here how nervous I was in the beginning. I was just blocking a lot. I was a little bit scared of trying to intercept her. So eventually I kind of gain my bearings and get some good intercepts in. And with Nick Fury, it's also nice because you don't have to be concerned about chip damage for the majority of the fight. Because he does have his life model decoy if he's awakened. And if that's the case, if I do die to chip damage, all it's going to do is give me extra damage myself. So I'm not super concerned about the recoil. You can see me here, I'm just throwing special ones, trying to keep my tactical charges up. And we're about halfway through here, and I've taken off a little bit less than half of her health. Again, I wasn't concerned. You can see there the life model decoy just got killed off. So at this point, my damage is going to be amplified by quite a bit. She dodged there, but I didn't have a special one available, so I just used my special 2. And you can see at this point, it's been like 20 seconds, and she's going down really quickly. The light ending bleeds are making this fight a lot easier, and there we just finish it up with a combo. So that felt really good. Again, I don't usually take the bosses, so that was really exciting. And we did end up winning this war. It was really close in the beginning, and towards the end we did manage to pull ahead a little bit. But congratulations to both teams, to my alliance and D69, and we'll see you in the next one.